recruiters are people too.
Hashtag recruiters are people too. I like
One thing I see all the time is a student will come up and say, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm really interested in data science. I want to do machine learning. And we have a small data science team at WillowTree, but that's not what we do. So when we say, unfortunately, we don't have those opportunities. We're looking for primarily XYZ. Students almost immediately shift and say, oh, that's awesome. Like, I'll do that too. And on one hand, sometimes they will, right? They're interested in so many things. But on the other hand, if you want to do something specific, find that opportunity. Like, you don't need to mold your experience and your hopes to fit what my company has to offer. It's perfectly okay to say, oh, thank you so much for letting me know. I appreciate your time. And to walk away and to find that company that's going to have the opportunity that you're looking for.
And you can still have a sticker.
And you can still have a sticker. In fact, I want you to still take a sticker.
You're listening to Work in Progress, a podcast that helps you understand and navigate the world of work. Work in Progress is a podcast that belongs to the Teej FM network. It's TEEJ.FM. Tune in and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on the UVA Career Center website. For more resources, follow the UVA Career Center on Facebook and Instagram. I'm your host, Jessie, and I'm a career peer educator and a UVA student.
And I'm your host, Kate, and I'm a career counselor at the UVA Career Center. This week on Work in Progress, we go undercover at a Career Center event to help you prepare for a career fair. But first, we're going to get to know one of the people on the other side of the table. So tell me who you are and where you work.
So my name is Jamie Wright, and I work actually here locally in town at WillowTree, a software development company, and I manage all of our university and student programs.
Jamie is a college recruiter who attends career fairs all over the country. We're so glad she could join us to give us the inside scoop about what it's like to meet students at career fairs and what stands out in a good way and in a bad way. So let's start with the big question. What are you looking for when students come talk to you at a career fair?
We're looking for a lot of different things, but ultimately at the end of the day, looking to connect a face and a story with a piece of paper.
How do you want a student to approach you?
Students sometimes can get really worked up in their elevator pitch, right? This is who I am, this is my major, this is what I've done, and do you have internships? It's like 30 seconds and it's very quick. And I think it's almost more important to have just a natural conversation with someone. A lot of times students come up and they might not even actually know what WillowTree does. And that's totally fine, right? That's why we are at the career fair. It's helpful when someone walks up and says, hey, this is who I am, here's a brief snippet about me. Can you tell me a little bit more about WillowTree and what WillowTree does? Or can you tell me about your role? What do you do at the company, so they can help frame their conversations? It's helpful, I think, for students to know who they're talking to at the beginning, too. So they might be someone on the engineering team or the design team or the marketing team. It's nice to have that initial elevator pitch, but it should be a back and forth conversation. There's so much pressure. There's so much stress that students are under. They're worried about what they're wearing. They're worried about their 30-second elevator pitch. They're worried about the person in front of them and what they're saying, and the person behind them and what they're going to say. So students should know we're not looking at what you're wearing. We're looking, again, to make that personal connection with the student and learn a little bit more about who they are.
What advice do you have for first and second year students who might not see a lot of positions posted that they're eligible for?
Go to see what's out there, right, to learn more about different opportunities and different companies that exist in your industry. And you're right, there are so many companies out there who are really looking specifically for third-year students, or they're looking for specific things. Maybe it's classes, maybe it's level of experience, whatever it may be. But there are also a lot of companies out there who don't have those requirements. Go to learn a little bit more about companies who do have opportunities for people maybe who don't have as much experience. On the flip side of that, right, you may talk to a company who has one of those harder rules about qualifications, and it is a great opportunity to figure out exactly what that company is looking for. So, okay, I might not be qualified as a candidate this year, but I'm going to talk to a recruiter. They're going to tell me, make sure you focus on ABC, maybe try XYZ over the course of the next year, and come back and talk to us next fall. And I cannot tell you how many times we've been to a career fair, we've given advice to a student, and they've come back the next year and they say, hey, we talked to one of your recruiters last year. They told me to look into this. I ended up working on this side project. I built an Android application, and then boom, that's someone we want to talk to, because not only have they demonstrated interest in the work that we do, but they took our advice and is really motivated.
How should students follow up with you after the fair?
A good rule of thumb is to always try to put some sort of identifying factor in that email. So, hi, Jamie, my name is XYZ. We spoke at UVA at the career fair. We spoke at the tabling session. We spoke at wherever it was. I was super interested to hear this thing you said about the company, and it reminded me of this experience that I've had. I'm very excited. I went ahead and applied, and I look forward to hearing back from you. I mean, sometimes you're going to connect about things that are not Willow Tree related, right? I've had really, really funny conversations about, TV shows and pop culture and things like that. And it's okay to reference those things too. I mean, match the tone of the recruiter that you meet, right? But hey, Jamie, it was so great to talk to you, about both Willow Tree and, XYZ TV show that we both love. And then, follow the same pattern. Those sort of emails go immediately into a candidate's file. So, inevitably when we're going through and we're reviewing applications, it helps to jog our memory. Oh, we met this student on campus and I remember that conversation. And oh, I really was interested in what this candidate had to say. So I'm going to move them forward for interviews. I know this is my story, and I'm sure it's the story of every other recruiter who's at the career fair. We are probably coming from another event at another school, and we are probably going to another event immediately after the one that we are attending. So we have inboxes that are probably a huge mess, so don't expect an immediate response, right? Know that we appreciate every single follow-up email, but if there's not a specific question or something that needs to be followed up on, you might not get an immediate response. It doesn't mean you're not qualified. It doesn't mean we're not going to move forward with your application. We do appreciate those follow-up emails.
Sometimes it might be after the career fair that people apply. How late is too late to get in touch with a recruiter? Is it okay if you follow up maybe a couple of weeks later if you feel like you've sent an application in and it's just gone into the void? Students think they're going to be in trouble if they're bothering you.
Oh my gosh. I love talking to students. Don't think that if you follow up with a recruiter that you're bothering them. It is quite literally my job to review your application. It is literally my job to follow up with you about your application. And a lot of the times when a student emails me, I'm never bothered. I'm like, oh no, I didn't do that thing. And now the student is having this potentially bad experience with my company. And if a student follows up with me, generally speaking, I do try to get back to them pretty quickly.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Let's turn it over to Jessie, who's been gathering student questions at the career fair.
So here we are at Newcomb Ballroom. I see a lot of big signs saying who is here. I see a lot of candy, a lot of very nervous people. Students are all wearing different stuff, I'd say. I mean, I see some people in jeans and sneakers, some people wearing business casual, some just wearing professional clothing. But I'd say it's a wide variety. The recruiters are looking spiffy. They don't seem nervous. And they seem really friendly. They're all smiling, talking to people, chatting, shaking hands. Professionalism. Once again, in our final segment, we address some student questions here at the career fair. Hi, quick question. Would you be interested in being on a podcast?
Right now. Should I go if I'm not actually applying?
I think it's a great idea to go to a career fair to be prepared for the future. It's also completely fine if you're applying to graduate school, unsure of your options, to just go and learn. Just be prepared to also talk about yourself and introduce yourself first. Don't go and be passive and expect that all the information is going to come from the recruiter.
So next question.
Should I be worried if they told me to just apply online?
This is a really common question.
Definitely not. If you go up to a table and you're talking to a recruiter, you have a great conversation, and then they tell you to apply online, it means they're interested in having you apply. That's good news.
No matter what, whether you go to the career fair or not, you have to apply online.
Why should students go to a career fair if they're going to end up applying online anyway?
Students should go to a career fair because it is oftentimes the only chance they may have to actually speak to a representative from a company, and can potentially more clearly articulate in a cover letter or in an interview why it's the right opportunity for you. A lot of times at Willow Tree specifically, and I know this is the case with a lot of different companies, our recruiters will come back and they'll bring me a bunch of resumes of people that they met at the career fair, and they are going to tell me specifically, hey, this person was phenomenal. They had this great story about experience they had, an app that they built, insert your example. Sometimes it's not even on their resume. And it really helps me as a recruiter, right, reframe my idea of who is a qualified candidate and who can be.
Okay, final question.
What should I bring with me?
Things to bring to a career fair: copies of your resume. 10 or 15 would be good, just depending on who you plan to talk to. Bring your resume because it's a talking point and it helps you have a conversation. But be prepared for the fact that when you give someone your resume, after your conversation, they may give it back and say, thanks for coming up to our table. Please go apply online. So it's more for the conversation you're having in person. Bring a pen. Make sure you can write down information. Bring a bag or something that you can put business cards in, because that's a really great thing to ask someone for after you chat with them. Your bag can also be used for swag.
Well, thank you so much, Kate, for providing me the emotional support and also the professional support at the career fair. I feel a lot more comfortable going up to recruiters and chatting. They're people too. So thank you for that.
Hashtag recruiters are people too. I like that.
Recruiters are people too.
This was super fun.
Can you do all of these? Come back. Come back. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have more questions, please come see us in the Career Center.
Work in Progress is a podcast by the UVA Career Center, TEAJ FM, and WTJU. I'm your host, Jessie, and my co-host is Kate. Work in Progress is produced by Mary Garner McGee. Our music is from Blue Dot Sessions. Follow the UVA Career Center on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out our website at career.virginia.edu.